Hey everyone, Chang here. This is the skill building video series. For today's topic, I'm going to talk about the different forms of linear equation and how you actually don't have to memorize almost any of it. Maybe just one. Everything else actually comes from this one equation. You guys can guess it. This one right here. The slope equation. Point slope and slope intercept actually are basically the same thing, right? The slope formula is the most important because all of these guys come from this slope formula. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, here we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals m. That's our slope formula. Now, here's the thing. The slope formula is talking about the difference between y and the difference between x, but it's just talking about 2 points. If we generalize it, right, instead of just 2 points, any 2 points, we have an equation of a line. So here's what I'm going to do. Right here we have y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1 equals m. Instead of y2 and x2, I'm going to generalize this particular point, right, which is originally y2, x2, into something just general, y and x. So rather than m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, m is going to equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Now I'm going to do something a little amazing actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply x minus x1 on this side, and I'll multiply x minus x1 on this side. So what's going to happen is these guys are going to cancel, and what I'm going to have left over is going to be m times x minus x1 equals y minus y1. If I switch this over, so this on this side, they're equal anyway. Notice that basically y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is exactly the point slope formula. So other than just changing the y and x, there's really nothing else. And the reason I could do that is because even though this originally is supposed to be some particular point, I generalize it so that it could be any point. And this becomes basically a formula for a line, which is this one right here. Now what about slope intercept? Slope intercept is just a special case of point slope, because this particular point that we're worried about in this case is the intercept, the y-intercept. Now, when we're talking about the y-intercept, what that means is that x must be 0, and this right here, your y-intercept, whatever it intersects at y is, we can call it anything, but I'm going to call it b. And there's a specific purpose I want to call it b. Now, I'm going to use this point slope form. Y minus, let's do minus, I'm using point slope, y minus, this is going to be b. Right? We're using this particular intercept, 0, b. B could be any number. Y minus b equals m times x minus x1. In this case, x1 is 0, so it's just going to be x. So y minus b equals m times x. If I add b on both sides, what I get, this cancels, y equals mx plus b. Right? So this right here is exactly this, which came from this with a special point of 0, b, because that's the y-intercept. Now this is amazing, right? So what that means is that even though it's 3 very quote-unquote different things that we are afraid of, we might have to memorize, it all just comes from this slope formula. If you can remember this slope formula, and just remember the logic and how I got to point slope, then slope intercept, then you really don't need to memorize these two. You just need this, and then you're good. Let's practice and see how that actually works. All right, let's look at this problem. Here we have a line that we're looking for with the slope of 1/2, and we want it to pass point 3, 4. So let's just start off with our slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We really don't want the y2 or x2. This is just going to be y and x, right? So in this case, m we know is 1/2. 1/2 equals y minus our y1 is going to be 4 in this case. So let's just put 4 right here over our x minus x1 is going to be 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by x minus 3, x minus 3. This cancels. What I'm going to have is going to be y minus 4 equals, and it's going to be 1/2 times x minus 3. Okay, look at that. That is our point slope form already. And what we're going to do is we can continue working on it and to get it to slope intercept form. So what we can do is we're going to distribute the 1/2 inside the parentheses, and I'm going to write it right here. It's going to be y minus 4 equals 1/2 times x minus 3 times 1/2 is 3 over 2. Okay, last thing we're going to do is we're going to add 4 on both sides. So we have y equals, this cancels, 1/2 x, right? 4 is technically just 8 over 2. And this is going to subtract 3 over 2. So that's going to be what? Plus 5 over 2. And this would be our line with the slope 1/2 and passes through 3 over 4, or 3 comma 4. So for this second problem, we have another one that we want to find a line with the slope 4 that passes through the point 0 comma 5. Now, once again, I'm hoping with these exercises, just going from slope to point slope to slope intercept, that you guys remember the progression and therefore don't have to remember all the different formulas. We start off with the slope formula. Once again, we're going to generalize the y2 and x2 to just y and x. It could be any of the point on that line. So we have our slope, which is 4, equals y minus, and our y1 is just going to be the y coordinate here. That's going to be 5 over x minus, and our x coordinate is going to be 0 in this case. So what do we have? Basically we have 4 equals y minus 5 all over x. So we're going to multiply by x on both sides. This cancels, and I'm going to write it right here. We have y minus 5 equals 4 times x. The last thing we need to do is we need to add 5 on both sides, and that will give us y equals 4x plus 5, which is our slope intercept form. Now for the remainder of the video, we're just going to solve problem. Let's follow along. Thank you for watching this video on the different form of linear equation. See you in the next one.